I met a gypsy.
It was, I guess with the bikes, they gave them to you so you could keep the bikes and sell them off, and that was it, that was it. And I was going to go race the AMA Nationals, 250 class in the Nationals. Sorry, 250 class in the Supercross. And I was going to race 125 Nationals, and I had to figure out the rest. How was I going to do it? So Peter Laskowski, I used to live with Pete, and so I said, okay, you come be my mechanic. I couldn't afford a Gary Ben, to bring him over, let alone he probably wouldn't have come. I was like I had to solve the mechanic problem, and then I bought a van and figured out somewhere I could live. And really, that was it. We flew over there. We're going to go race all over the US. I didn't sit down with a piece of paper and go, oh, it's going to cost this much money or anything. I was just going to do it.
Just winging it.
I knew I made pretty good money in Australia, so I knew I had money. That was okay, but I didn't really know if it was going to cost $50,000, $100,000. I didn't know, but I knew one thing. I knew I wasn't going there to fail. That was the one thing I did know. That I'm going to make this work somehow. So we went there, and I remember we got invited out to a test session at Simi Valley. Honda had a test track in Simi Valley. And I went out with a guy called Brian Manley, who was also a support rider for Honda. And Brian had come down to Australia once or twice for a Supercross. So he said, hey, come out with me. I'll take you out there. I was gonna test out there, and get out there. And I remember I'll just warm up on the motocross track, and get a few laps in. And back then, Roger was still doing a bit of riding, Roger DeCosta.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was still testing some bikes for Honda, like doing some R&D, test riding. And when you're on a track and you kind of see someone
out of the corner of your eye,
and you mark that point on the track,
yeah.
and then I come around the next lap and I was like, oh fuck, he's pulling away, and then next time he's pulling away, I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I've got a little bit of work to do here. So Roger DeCosta, the old boy, the test guy,
just smoking you.
He's faster than me. He's smoking me. I'm the best guy from Australia, and he's like the Honda test rider. So
wow.
So I was like, oh shit. It was a pretty technical track, mind you. Pretty hilly, hard pack, and then I get on the Supercross, and there's David Bailey, Johnny Amara, Ricky Johnson.
That's a heavy lineup.
It's a heavy lineup, and I'm in deep. I'm fucking in deep. And they're doing shit on the track. I'm going, fuck, how do I do that?
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, fuck, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I've got a little way to go here. So, and that's how it started, and I think we got ready for that first race at Anaheim, and the Honda guys are great, Roger, the guys, I was only a support rider, but they'd give me some time and they'd try to help out a little bit with my settings and try and get me on the right track. And Mitch Payton from Pro Circuit also took me under his wing and was, helping me out, or, helping us out. And I think I got 10th in that first race, in Anaheim, 250.
Sick.
Yeah. Did okay, so we're off to a good start, and I think, and back then people say, there was actually prize money back then, like I think just to qualify for the 250 main was $1,000, and then Honda used to match it, like with the contingency money, so like $2,000 to qualify, so, and that's how I basically funded my way around America, like the prize money. That's why I'm big on prize money today. I think racing here is still pay prize money because it gets the privateers to the next race, you know, and it kind of upholds the base of a sport. That if you just give back a little bit of money to the people that helps them get to the track on the weekend. So that's how I kind of got around the US. And funnily enough, I think once my results started to improve, we started making pretty good money. The only hiccup to that season really was a pretty major one. Was at the second race at Anaheim. I was pumped after at San Diego. So after Anaheim, I was pumped. 10th place. Okay, I think we can do this. We can make something of it. And Anaheim was muddy. Sorry, San Diego was muddy and. I won my heat though. I was like stoked, I won my heat, and then at the start of the main, there was a I think it was like on the first lap. I think I started maybe 6th or 7th maybe position, and then Billy Lyles tried to clear this double jump that no one else had cleared the mud, and he got crossed up and freaking landed on my head.
Oh,
broke my jaw. So that just totally screwed my my Supercross season. And that was got helicoptered out of the track. And
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So, that was like, oh, man, because that was really not long after I hurt my back at Galdorf.
Yeah, so you kind of just had a couple of bad...
And yeah. So, I was like, what could I have done different? I don't think I could have. The guy just took a huge gamble, tried to clear this double that no one else was doing in the mud and just crossed up and landed on me. So it was pretty bad. But I was again, it's a bit like the only question you really had for the doctor was how long is it going to take?
Yeah.
I just want to get back, and I also did a little bit of damage to the vertebrae in my neck, so it was, although that wasn't really any pain involved. I guess you still got to think, gee, what could have been?
Yeah.
But eventually, after having my jaw wide shut for about 8 weeks, I got back racing again, and I think we caught one of the last Supercrosses at Arizona, and I finished 5th in that race. So it was like, wow, okay, we're okay. We're back on it, and then did the nationals and struggled a bit, but we got on the podium the last few nationals, and then that set us up for a factory ride with Yamaha the next year. So even though it was a tough year and a pretty big setback at the start, I think we did enough to to get a name on the board, and yeah.
What was it like? So you were racing 500 Mr. Motocross,
yeah,
and then you go to race 250 Supercross. Yeah. And then 125 nationals. Yeah. Like, that shit is unheard of these days.
Yeah,
what was
back,
that like?
It was pretty hard, stepping back in a way. It was a bit difficult.
If you could do it different, do you reckon you'd try and just stay on the bigger bike?
Yeah.
Like, does it make more sense to just get on it and stay on it?
It would have, yeah, for sure. It would have made more sense, and maybe I should have steered it that way a little bit, but I guess I was a bit like, fuck, I've got nothing.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's the only deal I can get. Probably hindsight would have said, probably even if I'd bought those bikes, I would have been better off. But yeah, I mean, that's live and learn. Yeah, maybe a bit better off, but hey, it was still, it wasn't like the racing. It was competitive racing. It was just having to step back a little bit and try and adapt to it.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.